promising economic partner, I would urge them to look at the expectations, demands of the market and meet those expectations and demands. There is no reason why we should be pushed out of the market in terms of supplying, particularly when we know that a large number of Nepalese come to India, like to be in India, educate their people in India, and want to retain very strong connections with India. Why should people who have very strong connections in India not be interested in buying Indian goods and services?
So the two Italian Marines who were accused in killing of the fishermen in Kerala were allowed by a court to go to their homeland for Christmas celebrations. But there is widespread criticism about the stand taken by the central government, saying that it was a soft stand by the center in the court. How will you react to this?
We took a responsible and objective stand when asked by court. We couldn't have taken any other stand if a foreign government and foreign minister of another country presents a document or presents a request or presents a guarantee to a court of our country, we can hardly say don't take it seriously. On the merits, the court has to decide. We are no ones to decide, and nor should we be deciding. If we had to decide, the matter wouldn't have gone to court. So both in terms of jurisdiction, where the Supreme Court is still to pronounce, and also on terms of bail conditions, where the High Court had imposed bail conditions, the variance in those bail conditions also has been done by the High Court. Of course, we have been asked to respond on what, according to us, is the status of the guarantee given and the commitment made by a foreign country, by another country, and we've done what under the understanding of international relations anyone would have done. If we hadn't done this, we would have been in violation of our commitments to international law.
Mahesh Acharya.
So again, question related to Nepal. As a friendly neighbor which enjoys huge leverage in Nepal, is India concerned with the perennial political stalemate in Nepal? If so, sir, how do you observe the situation in Nepal? And do you see any kind of role India could play in Nepal in helping to end the stalemate as India did in 2005 while forging the historic 12-point understanding between the political forces in Nepal?
The President of Nepal is coming very soon. He's visiting India very soon on the invitation of the President of India. And he's the head of, constitutional head of state in Nepal, and I think that from what I know, he's been trying his best to get all the parties together, come back to the table, discuss. The only method that is now left to Nepal to move forward is to have, it seems, a consensual national government for which the contours and the structure has to be worked out by the political parties in Nepal. We do hear what is happening there from time to time. Our mission reports to us what kind of confabulations have taken place, discussions have taken place, if there has been movement or there has been a stalemate. And we also note that the President has tried to push for a consensus by putting deadlines, and there is now another deadline that's being made available. But other than to morally support this movement for a consensual national government that can then organize fresh elections, there isn't very much that we can do. Every time and every event has its own limitations and its own requirements, and we have to respond to the requirements and limitations of the present event rather than go by a standard that was followed in some previous event, in which our intervention, to the extent possible, may have been wholesome and successful, but not always can that be repeated. I think right now people are engaged in very meaningful dialogue keep track of what is happening in the dialogue to the extent possible, but we would rather that the dialogue itself throw up the consensus that everybody knows. We know, Nepal knows, and everybody else knows that it is very, very important for future prosperity of our friendly neighbor.
सर, जैसा कि कल मलेशिया के प्रमुख ने बताया था कि हम अंग्रेजी के शिक्षकों का स्वागत करेंगे, तो ये शिक्षा और खासकर रोजगार और आपस में क्या बातें हुई?
शिक्षा रोजगार क्या?
कल सर मलेशिया के प्रमुख ने यह कहा था कि मैं अंग्रेजी के शिक्षकों का अपने यहाँ स्वागत करूँगा।
हाँ,
मैं जानना चाहता कि क्या शिक्षा और रोजगार को लेकर के कुछ बातें हुई है, कुछ प्रमुख बातें?
नहीं,
ASEAN कंट्री के
ये हुआ है। ये तो सिर्फ मलेशिया के संबंध में नहीं बल्कि और देशों की ओर से भी ये मांग आई है कि भारत की जो संस्थाएं हैं जिनसे हम प्रयास ये करते हैं कि टेक्निकल ट्रेनिंग या प्रौद्योगिकी की ट्रेनिंग हम उपलब्ध कराएं, इस देश में भी कराएं, जो हम स्कॉलरशिप देते हैं, स्लॉट्स देते हैं, और जगह जगह पर हम केंद्र बनाकर उनके देशों में भी हम ये ट्रेनिंग ये प्रशिक्षण दे सकें। वहाँ पर उन्होंने अंग्रेज़ी भाषा का प्रशिक्षण भी हो सके और शिक्षा अंग्रेजी भाषा की भी दी जा सके, इसका भी उन्होंने उल्लेख किया था। और ऐसे प्रयास हम लोग इस क्षेत्र में कर रहे हैं और हम इसके लिए तैयार हैं। जहाँ जहाँ हमको विश लिस्ट प्राप्त होगी हम उसके अनुसार उनको ये योगदान देने के लिए तत्काल तैयार रहेंगे। वैसे हम अकेले नहीं हैं अंग्रेजी भाषा की शिक्षा देने में, और भी ऐसे देश हैं जो अंग्रेजी भाषा में उनको सहयोग दे सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर हमको प्राथमिकता वो लोग देना चाहते हैं और हमारी जो अंग्रेजी भाषा हम लोग जैसे सिखाते हैं, जो हमारे जो रूपरेखा रहती है, अगर उससे वो प्रसन्न हैं और उसकी वहाँ मांग है तो हम अवश्य उस मांग को पूरा करेंगे।
विकास
Sir, the Russian ambassador has congratulated Narendra Modi on his electoral win. Earlier, we'd seen that the British envoy and some other European envoys had also visited him. So, how does the centre view the end of the diplomatic isolation of Narendra Modi, which post the riots in 2002? Sir?
We didn't encourage any diplomatic isolation. We didn't encourage sovereign countries to take a particular position on Mr. Modi, but they did take that position, and we noted it. If they take another position, we will note that as well. Mr. Modi is an elected Chief Minister of our country, of the state of Gujarat, and he would take his oath under the Constitution of India. Much as we may disagree with some of his policies and indeed some of the attitudes that he exhibits, he has elected office, and he would have taken oath once again under the Constitution. So we will respect that, and we will obviously we are required to respect that. To have political differences with him and to join the campaign against him on issues that are, we believe, of far-reaching nature is completely different from his serving as the Chief Minister of the state, and I hope that he makes the same distinction himself.
Is it possible if you could tell us about agreements with the Russian presidents during the Russian president's visit and the agreements on nuclear reactor 3 and 4?
See, as far as the agreement on Kudakkulam 3 and 4 is concerned, we have a umbrella agreement with the Russian Federation. Now, for specific units of Kudakkulam, that will be directly negotiated and signed by the organization that is responsible for the power plant. But that's not something that needs to be or would require to be done at the level of President Putin. There will be other agreements. We have a meeting of a cabinet committee this afternoon, and I think that some of those will be finalized. It will not be possible for me to declare that at this stage. After they've been finalized, with the cabinet or cabinet committee, we will then be able to disclose, and then you will know as part of the program as to what agreements he would sign, but there will be some agreements signed.
Naz.
Russian Ambassador Mr. Karagin, while addressing a press conference today, he was very critical of the treatment system met in this country, and he said the matter is more political than judicial. What is your reaction?
Well, my reaction is that I could be critical as well, but it wouldn't help. We are bound by judgments of the court, and because of the difficulty that we felt understanding the law of the land, we went for an advisory opinion. My understanding of the advisory opinion that has been given, there were several questions to be answered. The court had said they will answer 4 questions. They answered, according to the judgment itself, they answered 5, but close reading of the judgment indicates that they answered only 4 questions. So there are important, significant questions, particularly the 5th question, i.e. what in crafting relief should the courts do when there are international obligations. This answer is not specifically made available in the Supreme Court judgment. But you know, when the Supreme Court opens, and this is brought to the notice of the Chief Justice and the Supreme Court, they might want to take a fresh look at this. In the absence of Supreme Court giving us very clear guidance on this, there isn't any executive decision that can be taken, and I would, at the best, I would presently simply say that there is concern felt, and that concern may have been expressed in this manner. We are sensitive to that concern. We are trying to address that concern in one way or the other. We are hopeful that the concern will get addressed. I can't put a timeline on it, but I hope that when the Prime Minister meets with Mr. Putin, if this topic comes up, we will have some adequate reply ready, which would bring some comfort, I believe.
Is India looking to buy more fighter jets from Russia? And has President Putin expressed his concern that contracts for defense deals are now going more to the US and Europe? Thank you.
You know, I think that a lot of stories get written at the time of such a visit. I can only say this to you that there are some ongoing work in progress issues that will be taken forward during his visit. Some agreements that have been signed will be taken forward, and some agreements will be signed when he's here. As far as issues of concern are to be taken up, they are on the agenda, they will be taken up, and we will prepare to ensure that those are addressed. I think we have done a fair amount of work to address those issues. There isn't an insurmountable issue. There isn't a roadblock. We may not have a very wide road at places. The road may be a little narrow at places, but the road is an open road. I think we are both sides are clear of its destination. We are moving in that direction. We have a good relationship with the Russian Federation. We want to strengthen it further. We want to enhance it further. On the economic side, on the trade side, we believe our potential needs to be explored to a greater extent. And the areas in which we are cooperating are areas in which we can take the cooperation much further. And because we have an annual summit, and this is an annual summit, it will be a chance to look back over the year to see how further we have come, what more we need to do, and to lay out a roadmap for the next year.
Last question, Seema.
The Russian ambassador was actually questioning about the sovereign guarantee that comes in with a bilateral investment protection on both sides. How does that stand?
See the sovereign guarantee issue, the bilateral investment treaties, are all issues on which we are extremely concerned. Because there are two things. One is the consequences of having to pay enormous amounts that may come by way of international arbitrations. The other thing is that a guarantee or a treaty is something that you sign because you are committed to that position. Now, the structure of our government and the structure of our state and the separation of powers that exists in our state under the Constitution is something we can't wish away. It may not be exactly the same for other countries and other constitutions, and therefore something that is done by courts in our country may be seen by them as being done by the state. We see courts as being autonomous and independent part of the state, and therefore what they do are some things for which we cannot directly take responsibility. But at the end of the day, this can only be decided through a separate adjudication. But that's the reason why I emphasize that the fifth question out of the questions that we gave to the Supreme Court to give us an advisory opinion on related directly to this very issue. And if we had an opinion of the Supreme Court on this issue, we might be today in a happier position, provided that the opinion went along the lines that we would like to see it go. We would have been in a happier position. Since that question was not answered, although the court felt that it would be able to answer it, but since the question was not answered, we await the court's attention further, and we will bring it to the notice of the court as soon as the court reopens. Of course, the difficulty is that from the bench of 5 judges who gave us that opinion, 2 may have retired, or at least 1 would have retired, 1 may be on the verge of retirement. So how will the court in these circumstances handle that presidential reference? We will only know once the matter comes before the court again.
With that, we come to the end of this event. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.